The eternal question, set boosters versus draft boosters. What's the difference here? How the heck do we evaluate expected value from these things? Well, here was my attempt to answer that particular question. I'll walk you through what I did to figure this out. The first thing I did is for a given set booster, what do you expect to pull in terms of rares, mythics, foils, rares, foil, mythics, and the list things? Gonna be honest, calculating some of this was kind of tricky. They've published some information about it, but I kind of suspect that the mythic pull rate might be a little bit higher than what you would normally expect. I'm not entirely sure, but here's sort of for a given booster, this is what you expect to see in terms of pulls. Notice you got about a quarter of a list card per pack and so on and so forth. Now, the most important part here is like, okay, for a given rare, a given mythic, and so on, what's the average value of those particular things? This obviously rises and falls with the market. And perhaps the trickiest thing to figure out was the list. What the heck? How do we evaluate that? I've determined that an average list card is about $2. How did I do that? Well, we started over here. I tried to figure out what the heck is the distribution of the commons, uncommons, rares, mythics, whatever in the list slot. I just watched a bunch of people open set booster boxes, tried to make a guess. My best guess here is what's actually happening is that you kind of have a ratio here of 3 to 1, where 3 is common slash uncommon, 1 being the rare slash mythic. So it kind of looks like what you would get in a booster pack, but not really because there's no commons. You get lots of uncommons, as you can see. And I tried to then tabulate. I just looked at literally like every list card that's worth more than a couple that $1, I think, and figured out what's the average value of these things. So a given common, uncommon, land slash chrome, I think they're all together, is $1. Your typical rare is $6.50. Here's your typical mythic, and so on and so forth. So my thinking here is that the slot based on all that is about $2. Okay, that was a lot of tomfoolery. The upshot here of all this, what is a list card worth? About $2. That means we can actually figure out the pack EV, the box EV. So my pack EV, not great, about $2.80. That means your set booster box is about $84. The open market price for these guys is about $100. So, that's about what it ought to be for a new set, I guess. But let's take a look at the draft boosters. These, the drop rates are a little bit better known. I'm using the updated formulae for drop rates of rares versus mythics and foils and all that kind of good stuff. We're using the exact same average price of these various things that we had before, and we find that your typical draft booster pack is about just shy of $2, and your booster box, draft booster box, is around $70. The differential there makes sense to me. There should be a slightly higher price point for set packs, set boxes versus draft. At the moment, the open market price for both of these things is about $100. Doesn't really make any sense to me. So yeah, I mean, this is, again, I might have made some errors here, some small errors, but I think the estimate is pretty close. I think the most important finding for me anyway is to give this valuation of the list slot, about $2 for any given card off the list. Thanks for watching.